Ó, continuar o vídeo de ontem, né? Hoje, um novo dia, tem uns 10 a 15 minutos. Estamos no minuto 30. Let's go! Let's go.
Would be about 22 months.
So at 1.8 years, where am I at? If you have a look at my Dreaming Spanish series. Okay, so I made my first video a year ago, okay? I believe it's, what was the actual date on this video? So February last year. We're past February, so I'm like a year and a month or so, okay? I am not at 1.8 years yet, okay? But he doesn't talk about hours. So I prefer hours as a discussion, but from memory in the classroom, they do 6 hours. Like that was kind of what they did.
If we look in terms of this picture, that's about ground level. All right? Before that, a few words, simple phrases, sure.
So he says before this, you will start saying a few words and simple phrases. Now, you guys have probably laughed at my few words and simple phrases in my actual Dreaming Spanish series, but again, in my crosstalk one in here, I actually have started saying some simple Spanish phrases and words. Okay, so I'll say things like no lo sé, or I'll say más balas, something like that, or chistas, chistas or something. You know, I'm not even saying them correctly, but like I have the desire to say some things, but not too much. Now, the reason I'm stressing this is because they don't actually say that there's a point where you just start speaking, like that's the speaking date. You're meant to actually go through a phase where it's like English, English, and then a little bit of Spanish, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then mainly Spanish, and then fully Spanish. Like that's the assumption here. Is like you kind of go through this conversion period into your target language, okay? Where again, this is where Dreaming Spanish diverges, and they basically say, okay, 1,000 hours, you got to start speaking, and people kind of take that as a hard cutoff. And this is the problem for me. I now need to make a choice. At 1,000 hours, do I just force myself to start speaking with speaking partners? And if I do that, well, then the claim can be, well, he didn't let it naturally occur. It didn't like naturally come out of him. He's actively partaking in essentially lessons. Maybe like I'll be with a teacher like Spanish Boost Gaming, and I'll be like, hey, I don't know how to say this. Can you just say it? Oh, okay, so it's this. And then I'll say, that's essentially a form of shadowing. That's not me naturally just being like, mas balas. You know what I mean? It's not like just, it's naturally coming out. However, if I then go, well, I'm not ready, and I just wait and I wait and I wait, and I get to 2,000 hours and I'm still just not ready to let it come out, then I can be accused of, well, you should have started ages ago. That's what Dreaming Spanish says, like, why did you wait so long? Because I do want to test ALG, but the ALG method is just let it naturally come out. And I get the feeling in 1,000 hours, I might have some more stuff naturally coming out, but it's not going to be ready to just start speaking.
But at ground level,
É porque o pessoal vende como se fosse bem rápido o processo, mas não, demora muito. Então, até ele entender o processo para começar a falar, demora um tempo. As pessoas não, igual no Dream Spanish lá, fala que com 800, a partir do 500, 600 horas você já consegue falar frases, alguma coisa assim, mas não é assim que funciona, né? Depende muito.
you compared with the 22-month-year-old child. In our program at this time, that's at about 700 to 800 hours.
Okay, so at 700 to 800 hours, you should start to speak. What am I at? I'm at 860 hours. Yes, I've started saying simple words and phrases here and there.
You say, wow, 700, 800 hours, that's a long time to develop.
By the way, I want to stress that. I am literally on point for ALG. My progression up until this point has exactly matched what they've said. Now, the reason I want to state that is because I do get comments from some people who'll say, how the fuck are you so bad, bro? Like, I'm doing ALG.
É igual ele tá falando, não eu vi o dia, o cara que criou essa metodologia. Dos 700 a 800 você começa, você nem tá fluente nessas horas, você começa a tá legalzinho.
Gee, and I'm way ahead of you. I'm like I'm at only 400 hours and I'm already like fucking B2 level speaking. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, you've obviously done more. Why are you pretending, okay? Like, I'm following ALG, the method, okay? And according to literally the godfather of the method, okay, well, he's not the godfather, he's more like the anointed son, this is where I should be at, and that's where I'm at.
Understanding. Perhaps. If a student's studying 6 hours a day, 5
Okay, so there you go, 6 hours a good day.
days a week, 30, 25, 26, 30 hours a week, something like that.
Não, 6 horas, 5 horas por dia é loucura, loucura, loucura.
In a year's time, you'll pass that mark. But let's say, counting holidays, you get to this point in a year. Your understanding has now risen 30 hours a week, something like that. In a year's time, you'll pass that mark. But let's say,
Tá, não, mas na verdade ele não tá falando pra você estudar 6 horas. Ele tá falando que se você estudar 6 horas por dia, em um ano você já passou da marca de 800 horas por... de 800 horas de input, né?
counting holidays, you get to this point in a year. Your understanding has now risen to a
So I'm even within the similar time frame. Within 1 year, I reached just over a year and a month ago, I reached 850 hours. And he's saying, you know, if you study this amount of time, accounting in for holidays and stuff, because remember this was a school.
Eu vou demorar mais porque o meu eu tô fazendo de meia hora. Hoje eu fiz uma prova da faculdade, passei. Só falta mais 4 agora, esse último semestre. Então eu tô fazendo meia hora por dia, né? Mas assim que eu terminar esse semestre da faculdade, terminar as provas, eu volto ao normal. Mas geralmente eu faço 1 hora por dia, 1 hora. No máximo que eu já fiz foi 2 horas. Então, em um ano, eu não chegaria em 700 horas de input. No máximo seria 400. Se for 2 horas por dia, seria 600. Mas não estou fazendo 2 horas por dia. Então, 4 horas por dia. Você entendeu?
Program, you will within a year reach this. Like, I'm literally doing exactly them. Now, obviously, they're doing Thai, and I'm doing Spanish, and Thai's a lot more difficult of a language, okay? But again, if we're basing this off of what children do, and children all start speaking at the same time, it shouldn't really matter, right?
level at this ground level. Understanding of the language, what you're hearing in a native environment, should be between 60 to 70%.
So, in a native environment, you should be understanding 60 to 70%. I'm understanding 60 to 70% of dub TV shows. In fact, I would say I'm probably understanding a bit more. When it comes to gaming, I'm definitely understanding more. Like, I can listen to fast-speaking Spanish, like mainland Spanish gamers, and I understand at least 60 to 70%. So it's like, I'm in line with that as well.
That means when you're out and about and you're hearing, let's say you're in China, you're learning Chinese, you're gaining, guessing, looking and listening at Chinese, you're understanding. For 1 year to about 700-800 hours, your understanding of Chinese with your eyes closed is going to be 60 to 70%, and you'll start to speak.
I have a question for the Mandarin ALG learners, because I know some of them follow me. At 700 to 800 hours, were you understanding 60 to 70% of spoken Chinese from natives? Not CI content, from natives. That I am very curious about.
We think about this percentage of understanding as a volume. At that point, 60 to 70%, it's like they're little holes.
Tem uma diferença que eu não tô vendo CI content, igual ele tá falando. Eu tô vendo native content, conteúdo nativo. Igual eu assisto série em inglês, eu assisto filme em inglês, eu assisto vídeos no YouTube em inglês. Igual o que eu tô vendo dele aqui sem legenda. Eu não vejo conteúdo de CI, que é o Comprehensible Input. Eu vi semanas atrás, essa semana na verdade, do menino andando de bicicleta. E aquilo lá é CI content, que ele vai falando, vai mostrando imagens, mas eu não gosto de ver muito não. Eu vejo, eu tento entender o máximo, mas eu gosto de ver conteúdos mais fluidos, né? Mais tranquilos. Não tranquilos, mas, entendeu? Em vez de engessado, pen, this is webcam, this is shirt, this is sunglasses. My sunglasses is blue.
Rub on the side of the cup and things start to come out at that point.
Okay, I would say...
Não entendi quem falou.
60 to 70%. It's like there are little holes throughout on the side of the cup and things start to come out at that point.
Okay, I would say...
Ah tá, depois dos 67% vai começar a ter alguns buracos e vazar.
There's, like, I'm pretty much in line with it. Maybe I'm a little bit ahead because I'm at like 860 hours, okay? Like, things have only really started coming out maybe in the last 50 hours, like the random little bits and pieces here and there. But then again, I'm not in a classroom environment, so I don't have a teacher who's like catering the content to me, my specific level. So that you would assume that there's some inefficiency in the fact that I don't have a teacher that's essentially, you know, constantly adjusting for me.
As it builds and builds and builds, the real flow and ability to communicate comes. Whenever we see students Doing what children do, it follows this pattern. Whenever students combine, speaking or reading and writing, early on, the pattern is different. Okay. But we're talking about natural language development. Can we speed up the speaking?
So for those who don't know, this is why I have not done any reading. It's why obviously I haven't done any writing and I haven't done any speaking. I am following this roadmap.
Process? Sure. By attaching, guessing about a word and saying that word sounds like this and making links and the mental things that we do as adults, sure, we can build up speaking ability quick, but the end result is never as good. Okay?
So essentially he's saying, like, listen to that exactly again. This is important. This is why you can't do word lookups, okay? Why ALG is against word lookups.
Guessing about a word and saying that word sounds like this and making links and the mental things that we do as adults, sure, we can build up speaking ability quick, but the end result is never as good.
So he's essentially saying if you link a word with an understanding of that word in your native language, so, you know, a translation, yes, it will be faster, but it will never be as good. Okay, like that's their assertion. I'm just stressing this, and this is why ALG is like, don't do word lookups. Don't do word lookups because you will associate with the English meaning.
Tá, ele tá falando para fazer associações, né? Em inglês, você ver a palavra e tentar linkar com uma palavra no seu idioma, native language, né?
If we think about two things here, we'll come back to this in a moment. I want to think about something with you for a moment.
Eu vou comprar ainda um quadro branco, velho, para anotar as coisas. Eu sou uma pessoa muito visual, eu tenho que estar olhando para lembrar. No serviço eu tenho um caderninho assim que eu anoto tudo que eu tenho que fazer porque eu esqueço das coisas.
If we think about building, let's imagine that we're native English speakers. So our native language here is going to be English. And we want to learn a language like the Thai language.
Não, a minha língua nativa é português.
We can build a new house where we have speaking, reading, and writing, building understanding of experiences down here until we can speak. This is the output, and then we have input and more output and so on. We can build a new Thai house, new culture, new customs, or we can link all these Thai words to the house we already have.
Okay, this is where I don't think this is true. Okay, so he's saying there's two ways to do this. You can either start from scratch and build up Thai, and the assumption is by just understanding and doing the ALG method that you will develop this language completely independently in your brain. Or you could do a more traditional approach where, you do translations or associations, whatever it is, okay? And you're just going to piggyback off of your native language, make connections, like what is the word for, I don't know, apple in Thai, and then what is it in English? Okay, now I know the translation, as opposed to seeing someone talk about apples in the language and then hearing that word and then associating with that specific, image. This is where I think that I don't agree, like this is not possible as adults, because as an adult, you have English or whatever your native language already in your brain. The child doesn't. They don't have a conceptual map of the world. They don't have all those associations. And the human brain is a pattern matching machine, okay? So even if you try to avoid 100%, like you see them talking about apples, you see the green shape of it, the red ones, and you hear the word over and over and over. Eventually you're going to associate it with that image, but at the same time your brain's going to go, that's just a fucking apple. And it's going to associate with English. Like there's no way of getting around that. Now,
então, eu não tenho muitas horas de inglês, desde pegar do começo da minha trajetória, mas tem palavras que sempre quando eu vou falar em inglês, eu lembro na minha fala em português. Mas não é que você tá associando, só que você não tá traduzindo. Por quê? Tem coisas que eu falo, eu nem pensei em português para falar, eu já falo em inglês e depois que eu falei eu lembro da palavra em português, não é antes. O ruim é você ficar traduzindo antes.
Now, you may notice with time, watching lots and lots of Thai content, that what they call an apple is actually slightly different to what they call an apple in English. Like, I'm just making an assumption, okay? And then you'll be like, oh, okay, so, like, the meaning's more expanded in Thai. But essentially, your brain is still going to go, that's a fucking apple, bro. Like, you can't get away from the fact that it's associated. This is where I fundamentally disagree with ALG's assertion that you're building something separate. I don't think you are. Now, I'm not a linguist. I can't say if there's been any stuff.
Eu também acho que não é uma coisa diferente da outra. O idioma você vai se conectando e, sei lá, não é duas casas diferentes igual ele tá fazendo no exemplo.
Studies on this, but like just based on my own experiences, even with ALG up until this point, the more something cements in my brain via ALG, the more I can just easily translate that if I want. Like for example, the balas before, you know, bullets. Like I know that's bullets. I didn't translate that word, but I know it's bullets. I've seen it, and therefore my brain's associated it. Like you can't fucking help it, bro.
ALG is, to my knowledge, the only program that actually seeks to build a new house altogether.
It may seek to do it, but I don't think it actually does.
Let me give you an example from Thai that I find interesting. When I say the word in Thai, mu, and I say the word that translates from mu into English is pig, there are two completely different feelings that come with that word.
And here's an example, okay? So he's using pig. So that's zhu. It's the same in Chinese, okay? Zhu, the meaning for pig, can be
Porco. Eu vou falar também no português.
used different to the meaning for pig in English. Yes, obviously associated with the animal, but there are other meanings that it can be. And I learnt it via traditional sense. So you can expand your understanding of the word once you've learnt the word.
In Thailand, I find many people who have the nickname mu.
As for example, my wife sometimes will just say "juju," which is like a cute way of saying pig. Okay, you'd never say "hey piggy pig," you know, to your child in English. Okay, but in Chinese it actually feels cute. But I never learnt it via ALG. I just learnt it via translation and found out later on. I just saw people calling their little kids, you know, "juju," and I was like, "Oh, that's so cute." Like they thought it was cute, and therefore I thought it was cute.
Oh, what a cute name. Usually they're a bit rotund or fat or round people.
It's exactly the same as Chinese.
What's your name? Mu. Nice to know you, Mu. When we think about that word in English, pig, I've never met anyone in an English country or English-speaking country who says, what's your name? Pig. No, why not? Pig is a word that we might use in an English context as a put-down. I might be angry with you and you're a pig. It's a quite rude, coarse kind of a
Again, so this is a point where I disagree with them, because the assumption that's being made right now is that once you associate with English, you are unable to expand the semantic bounds of that word. You're just like, it's locked into whatever its English definition. No, the English definition gives you a hook, a mental image to hook it with something. But once you've hooked it, you can then expand it, like over time. It's even what happens in our native language. Like when you learn something, okay, a new concept, you'll be like, okay, so it's basically like this. And they'll be like, yeah, it's like that. And then you've kind of got a mental hook, but then you realize it's used in more context as opposed to, you know, that other thing. In fact, when you're learning, one of the best ways to learn is to associate with something you already know in order to create that mental hook and then expand upon it.
Of a word to use towards a person. Why in Thailand can we use it as a nickname and it's cute? Because the underlying social values, the underlying culture coming up to the word pig or mu are completely different. Now, if I learn the word mu means pig, like most language programs would encourage us to do, what is mu? Pig. What am I doing? I'm actually linking a Thai word like mu. We'll do it in an English writing or Arabic writing here. In mu means pig. I'm linking it to the English word of pig.
And you know what the crazy thing is? Like, you've already done this, bro. You've linked it to pig. You've done it. You've done it right now. If you had not actually linked the concepts in your mind together, like mu, or however you say.
Tá. Por hoje já deu. Vou tentar terminar fora dos vídeos, esse vídeo fora dos vídeos. Porque eu tô no 45 minutos e é 1 hora e pouca, né? Adiós. Até amanhã.